The Symphony of Psychosis. Yo, what's up? It's someone that's no one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report is coming from adampushestrees, where he took DXM diphenhydramine, cannabis, and nicotine. And here's the full report details. Alright, welcome back to where we're covering this stupid ass combo again of DXM and DPH. Not only this combo, but really a whole DXM Sigma experience, accompanied by DXM and DPH addiction. So there was some tolerance going into this, probably why these doses were so high. Though it is a DXM Polysterex, which is the extended release version of DXM, and the doses typically are somewhat double of what you would do if hydrobromide or the freebase. Either way though, this is one trippy report, one insightful one too, but also kind of a concerning one. The level of dissociation is top notch, to the point of ego death at times and the total replacement of reality. This report is strongly hallucinogenic and kinda unbelievable if you never tripped like this before. But you do have to feel for bro, as he describes upcoming withdrawals and the current state he was in. I haven't heard from Adam in some years now, so I hope if you do see this Adam, that you're doing better, man. Either way, I'm sure everyone's gonna enjoy this one, so without further ado, let's dive right into this. For the last 2 years of my life, I have been abusing any drug I can get my hands on. I particularly love my hallucinogens. Prior to this monster trip, I had been on a 2-week binge of Benadryl and on a 2-day binge of off-brand Delsum. Well, let's dive in. So I'm standing in the medicine aisle in my local Walmart and was staring at the Dion 12-hour relief. Only active ingredient was DXM Polysterex. Please ensure if you do try this that DXM is the only active ingredient, though I cannot recommend you try anything I talk about in this report. Since I'm a broke teenager, I was forced to shoplift 2 bottles. I was with my mom and I didn't want to risk hiding 2 bottles on me, seeing that I was in short sleeves and shorts. So I head to the bathroom to down 1 bottle now. Doing the math in the stall, I kind of figure out that 1 bottle is around 890 milligrams of DXM Polysterex. I downed the first bottle in 3 big gulps. At this point in my life, I could chug these no problem, but I feel like the orange flavor is too tasty and easy to chug, almost like they were made for tripping. I take the other bottle out of the packing and keep it in my shorts until we walk out. I arrive home and hide my other bottle in my room, and commence to play 2K with my brother. 4 hours later, I go to my bathroom and pull out my year's worth of off-brand allergy and sleep aid. I would go through one of them in about 2 to 3 weeks. I take 20 pills or 500 milligrams of diphenhydramine. After downing them, I go smoke up one outside with my brother. After about half an hour, I feel the sedation from the Benadryl and possibly the setting of the first plateau from the DXM. At this point, it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I go inside to listen to music, which I feel is the best way to ride into a DPH come up. Not only does it help you stay awake, it calms you down. Plus, the music enhancement on DPH is phenomenal. A lot of people I trip with say that rap music is too hard of a vibe on DPH or DXM, but I think it's the best. Anyways, as I rode the wave into dissociation and delirium, I decided it was a good day to explore new territory. I was going to enter the 1200 milligram range on DXM, which was probably an underestimate because I proceeded to chug probably 3/4 of the second bottle of DXM. But I rather underestimate because I have a tolerance. I also decided to take 12 more DPH pills and I curled up in my bed. I then took a Nick break with a disposable pop bar. I turned on Family Guy and told my brother to check on me in an hour to make sure I was good. He wouldn't have snitched unless he thought that I had overdosed and was worried for my well-being, which I was fine with because I'd rather go back to rehab and still be alive. About an hour and a half later, I started to feel a little confusion and a heavy feeling in my limbs, which would be the peak of my DPH high because of my Iron Man tolerance to it. I took 900 milligrams with no visuals or even delirium daydreams. I definitely entered the first plateau by then, maybe early second. I waited for the first dose of DXM to fully set in, which would take another 2 hours or so. And boy, when it did, it hit hard. I was in the fourth plateau fully and started robo-walking around my room, which was enhanced by the DPH's heavyweight body sensation. I had a little key blasting in my earbuds as I walked around, probably raising all kinds of suspicion from people around my house, as I was known to be high as shit from time to time. I rode my high out normally for a few more hours till the second dose of DXM set in. This is what sent my trip into hyperdrive. I went onto my porch and sat down looking at the trees and what I thought was a beautiful view of the train tracks, field, and factory. The trees seemed to lose their outline, went static, and transform into really choppy animations. They seemed to draw themselves in front of me, only to lose their outline and reset. Then I hear my name being called, and it's real. It's my plug. He's walking down the street, and he says, "Let me holler at you," and walks up to my porch. He's got some new weed, a whole quarter pound of purple runts. I looked at the weed. It seemed to be bleeding purple ooze, and he says he'll front me now. He had turned me down the day before because he needed to get his re-up money, and I can respect that. He knows when I get my check, and he knows I've never fucked with his money. He said I'll even smoke one with you before you get it fronted. He proceeds to roll at least a 2.5 in a diamond swisher, and sparks. Halfway through this blunt, reality is buzzing. The weed is much stronger than what my brother had. The mailboxes and houses seem to slide across my field of view. I noticed that the color and what I would call the design of the world was now like I was living in a cartoon show. In other words, I was thoroughly fucked, but I never tap out on a blunt. We finish the blunt and I get a quarter ounce fronted. I go inside and drink a glass of orange juice just to send myself further down this hole. Walking was becoming so difficult. I had to hold on to stuff to walk. Like I could walk fine-ish if I was leaning on stuff. I just need a reference for where my feet were, is the best way I can explain it. At this point my mom caught on and pointed it out to my brother, stepdad, and grandma. Something to the effect of, "No way he's not high. I mean, he's walking around the house with his head and hands against the wall." Which I was told, they all agreed they thought I was fucked up. I have no recollection of them being in the living room with me. Music was the only thing I comprehended. I relished my whole playlist for the nightmare that came soon after. By now it was 9 o'clock, and I was past Plateau Sigma, because this was towards the end of a week binge at DXM. I discovered a new place in my mind that wasn't actually new. It was like a 4-year-old's brain. I rediscovered all my songs again, rediscovered the Face ID on my phone. I would unlock my phone with my face, but I was so separated from my body that I couldn't get my finger to swipe up to enter my phone. I'd lay my finger on my phone and try swiping up, but it was just too tiring. At one point in time, I would try to play 2K on my Xbox, but I'd end up throwing my controller to pass the ball. This was because I thought I was in the game. This got very scary very quick because I was so disoriented from the game, not knowing which reality I was in. The one where I was throwing the controller, or the one I was playing basketball. At this time, something broke through. I was hearing 223s by Melly playing through my headphones, but I didn't remember putting earphones in. When I realized they were in, I would question what an earphone was. What was anything, I thought. I had full-on ego death-like moments, which was insane while delirious. I looked at my outfit and was questioning my sanity for spending money on them when my body was free. I had not yet reached my peak though. I would soon learn what a psychotic void was. My next bout of consciousness was me sitting on my bed. I was staring around the room. The walls were buzzing with static, and my shell's contents were jumping, spinning, and rolling along its surface in the corner of my eye. I felt that feeling when you're at the top of a roller coaster's peak, and it drops below you for the fastest fall you can experience without dying. My stomach was churning in the distance almost, like I could feel it far away, like you hear a sound very far away. I started screaming like I was on a roller coaster. It was all in my head. I had reached the point of anesthesia where I was biting skin off my lips and was bleeding from them, but I was just not feeling it. I was stuck and having the most complex hallucinations of my life. I ran through the house all in just plain delirium. I smoked blunts, played basketball, had conversations, etc. I lived in this fully anesthetic state in which I was not with my body. I was a floating ball of consciousness roaming around aimlessly. If you don't understand, I was not moving at all during any of this, just sitting and dreaming in full consciousness. I had no purpose, I was just enjoying the music. Anytime an old song would play, I would live in an old memory. I would leave my body to go to my vivid memory. A lot of times, they were complete fantasy. I talked to old friends carrying on long conversations. I would visit places I'd seen in video games. I had this one vivid bout where I had visited a Minecraft world, and I would look around to see fantastic buildings and architecture that was too complex to be anything from Minecraft. My final memory from the night was a waking one. A man screamed complete gibberish and said the world's gonna end, and said, "You finally did it. You went too far. It's all over." I remember my mom came in my room because I apparently opened my door asking my brother to pass the toilet paper. Now, I have no memory of this, but he confirmed this. He also confirmed it was 4 in the morning. I must have been having some insane dissociations and possibly some delirium in there. And I discovered the next morning the last 4 gel caps of Summonex had gone missing from my mom's bathroom. I don't know if I took them or just lost them. I had also tore the whole cabinet and got stuff everywhere. I got a pretty bad lecture about it 2 days after. The morning after was all visuals and post-DXM mania, which I had kind of controlled somewhat. The first time I did DXM post-Rex, I was sent to the hospital, then a mental health facility, and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which was complete bullshit. I was just coming off a strong-ass trip. I've heard of similar things happening to other people. But I rode the tail end of my trip out and smoked some more cannabis to increase the visuals. My mom found and took the Benadryl. I immediately realized I had a couple hours till I started withdrawing, which is almost unbearable during mania. And if you never experience intense DPH withdrawals, keep it that way, because you lose your ability to pee, you grind your teeth, and basically shrivel up due to muscle clenching. And the cramps, don't even want to talk about them. I run out of the house and go down to the corner store tripping decently. I buy all the 2-packs they had and pick up some swishers. I down all 15 2-packs, which is 750 milligrams. Now I was probably in a low plateau 4, high 3 at this point. Hard to say since post-Rex trips are ridiculously long. But remember that quarter bottle? Yep, finished that off for no reason at all really. An hour later, I hear voices and I ignore them. I had become accustomed to the DPH delirium, body load, and music enhancement. Other than the frequent urination, there was no downside to me. I had no other delirium, mainly just DXM visuals and dissociation intensified by the DPH. All in all, this was my second highest dose of DXM and not even close to my highest DPH. The experience was very intense. 10 out of 10 would do again.